Hey guys, good evening, welcome back. Hope you've been well. Hope this finds you well. You're looking good. Hope you haven't been stressing out too much and been enjoying some outdoors time. So I appreciate you coming out to my office. We're going to call this episode 2, How I MacGyvered My Life. I don't know if you guys remember, years and years ago, this is circa 2025, February that we're in right now, but years and years ago, talking 90s, late 80s, I'd say, there was a show on TV, I forgot what station, called MacGyver, right? I forgot the actor's name, so forgive me please, if the actor ever sees this, please let me know, I'd really appreciate the show. But the premise of MacGyver was essentially this guy who, call him a contract government worker, that's right, who got into always sticky situations with his work buddy and someone else because someone's trying to do something bad, or there was an action that he got involved with that completely left turned into the weird, into the bad, and so on. Anyways, this guy, MacGyver, would find resources and find things around him that could solve his problem, right? I'm talking like a stick of gum, a nail, an empty gallon of gas, and a shoestring, whatever, right? Just random stuff, right? If you never see it, look it up on YouTube, MacGyver. Watch an episode or two, you get the idea. But he'd find these bits and pieces of randomness that he could put together chemically, physically, whatever have you, and it would get him out of that situation. Him, his work buddy, whoever else, and he'd get out, right? Just long shot it, get out of that situation. And he win in the end, the bad guy go away, or a situation be resolved, or whatever happened, right? We're down here by the stream again, if you haven't noticed. This is my office. Nice, not working at 9 to 5, right? And I have done a similar thing in my life, right? So let's start back from the beginning, a little bit for all of us, right? We started in, let's call it kindergarten. What's the book? Everything that I've ever learned, I learned in kindergarten. Everything I ever known that I learned in kindergarten, right? You know what the title is. Anyways, you learn basic stuff, shapes, colors, numbers, letters. You learn to read a little bit. Those beginner books, right? You kind of see where I'm going with this. You picked up these tools as you progress, as school progresses. First, second, third grade school. You learn a little bit more. You pick up some more tools. You join a sports team. You get coached by your parent. You get coached by a coach in your sports team. You start learning these skills and tools and experiences, and they build upon each other, right? Next thing, you're in middle school. You learn, that level of skills, tools, knowledge, and so on. Maybe you get into Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, scouting. You pick up an instrument, whatever. You keep building, you keep developing. High school, same thing. You go to college, same thing. Or a service college or a skills college. The point is that you add more and more tools to your proverbial life tool belt, right? A little this, a little that. Hey, this worked when I was in this age. Hey, that worked when I was in that age. Well, it's a different world now, so I have to modify these tools that I've learned and picked up along the way, right? Case in point. You've worked 16 years at a job, a few years at a job, whatever. You've learned a particular skill and you're very good at that, and suddenly comes to an end, right? Or a crisis happens, or whatever experience that railroaded your life off into the gutter, and now you have to basically rely back on all these tools that you've accumulated over the last few years, decade, whatever have you, and say, okay, this has changed my life in these many ways. However, I still have loved ones that depend on me. I still have debts that I have to pay. I still have people that I owe money to, whatever, companies. I have to take this accumulation of tools now. So this, a nail, shoestring, empty gas can, magnifying glass, or it's Excel, it's resume writing, it's public speaking, it's database analysis, it's coding, it's social media knowledge, it's sales knowledge, it's whatever have you. All these tools. Like if it's the entire world of skilled toolbox, you picked what you felt you would accumulate the best to and what you would have the most leverage, right? I've done some minor plumbing things, but that is not a tool that I have necessarily dived into to fill that, right? If I need a serious plumbing solution, I turn to someone who has dedicated their life to the solution of plumbing and those tools involved, period. They're good at what they do, they're very good, and they've chosen that. That's awesome, right? I, coming from a business financial background, have a much more eclectic tool belt of a number of different things that I am very, very good at, right? And probably similar to you, right? Maybe it's crocheting. Maybe it's, coaching. Maybe it's being able to comfort the sick or comfort the mentally distressed. Being a teacher. Your tool belt and your tool set typically are acclimated to the strengths that you have and that you are, right? You then delegate to other people maybe the tools that you're weakest at. Plumbing for me. Not a great plumber. I can plunge out a toilet, fine, but outside of that, I need a plumber. Come to 1234 Pennsylvania Avenue, whatever, right? Point being is that when you get to, as I mentioned, a crisis in life, this blockade, this fallout, loss of a job, global pandemic, loss of a company, closure of a company, divorce, death of a loved one, flat tire, car crash, whatever. Something that completely decimates the comfort zone that you have within your world. You have to pull together the tools that you have to get yourself out of it, right? Like me, who got let go, as you've heard a couple of times, just got to the point that, resumes weren't hitting like they used to be. Doors were not being opened like I thought they would be with my experience, knowledge, and everything else. It just didn't happen. So I had to make a conscious, active choice saying, I will hire myself and rely on my tools to get me out of my situation instead of someone else's worth of what my tools are worth and my knowledge, skills, and so on, right, to help them get out of their situation, right, aka a company hiring me or whatever have you, right, as a 9-to-5 employee. Again, nothing wrong with that, but that's not what I chose to do now. Now, if you're in that situation again, that it is not happening, job boards, everything is just completely going zeros on you, you have to figure out a way to then use these tools, bring it back in, provide for those you have to provide for to get you to where you want to be, right? So now that you're sitting down, it's again 4 in the morning, you've written out 4 pages of a business plan, of notes, of so on. What do you do next? How do you go about it? You know, you've sat down perhaps with a good buddy, friend, maybe not your wife yet, maybe, or your spouse, whoever, and you say, hey, look, I'm going to keep the resume out there. It's about as good as it's going to get. I have it on all those job sites and boards and everything else, trained over it. But in the meantime, here's my idea. Here's what I can do with my tools in the meantime to stay productive, to stay earning some money with what I got until something better comes along, right? And it's my creation. It's your creation. It's your blood, sweat, and tears. It's that 2 o'clock in the morning dream that you wrote down for 2 hours. Here you go. What do you think? Right? And if they're of any sort of degree of love that they have for you, support that they have with you, they'll support you in that, right? And we're going to get back to that in a second, maybe in the next one. We're going to precursor it as saying if it's you and God, that's enough. Maybe episode 3. But they'll say, hey, that's great, honey. Hey, that's great, dude. How do you expect to go from paper to practical implementation, right? Implementation. And you go, I have no idea. I have it on paper. I have my tools. I know how I would do this, right? This particular business. I just don't know how to get it started. And again, that's where I come from. Andy Fankhausen, nice to meet you again. Aqua Luxury Consulting. It's getting started in the right way so that you don't spend thousands of dollars, hundreds of hours into something with a 0 ROI, return on investment for your time, money, energy, and so on, right? It would suck to invest all of this blood, sweat, and tears into something with months, 6 months, a year, whatever, down the road, and it hasn't produced anything, right? Not saying that you wouldn't put the proper energy into it, right? But if you put the proper energy into it, and there's no movement, that energy is useless, right? That it's spent energy with no ROI. Now, I get you're pushing a rock up a hill, it feels like sometimes. But if you have the proper leverage, you can get that rock up the hill a little bit better, right? Which is time spent with somebody who has been down that road, who has seen the good, bad, and possibly ugly of decisions, lots of ugly of decisions, to be really honest with you, but has been through it enough that says, hey, have you considered A, B, and C? And in my opinion, as with, let's say, the start of all endeavors, you take a collective count, inventory check, if you will, of everything that you have that can go towards that particular goal. Your skills, knowledge base, contacts, right? Maybe even a mentor, you know? And you take an inventory check of, okay, what can I keep and what can I drop, right? What can I cut out of my life that doesn't serve a purpose that I can replace with other things? Is it a gym membership? Can I drop that and work out at home? Doing push-ups, sit-ups, whatever, calisthenics, right? Can I do that? That's $30 a month. Awesome. Boom. Yeah, $30 in. Again, coffee. Starbucks twice a day. Not saying Starbucks isn't good, but coffee's pretty much coffee. No, not for my coffee connoisseurs. I know, don't hate me. But it's reducing those extracurricular costs, and it just bringing it back in. You're bringing everything into an inner circle, right? And again, going to reference, if it's just you and God in that inner circle, that's all you need. We'll come back to that. But it's taking that inventory check once more and saying, hey, I can make it work with this, and this, right? And that has to be said with your money, I'd say, because unfortunately money is what makes the world go round. And for you, if you're in a position that you need to provide for your loved ones, spouses, family, kids, whatever have you, you owe money to debtors, mortgage, cell phone bill, you get the idea. You have to have X amount per month to just cover the basics, right? So you now know a few pieces of vital information. You know what you have. You know what you have skills-wise, right? You know what you have knowledge-wise, connections-wise, mentor-wise. You know that there's a problem in the marketplace that your idea, service, product, whatever, will fill that gap, fill that niche. And the really exciting part, and I'm going to digress here a second, the really exciting part is filling a gap that the marketplace doesn't know it either has or doesn't have and needs a filling in, right? Needs a solution for. You're creating a solution for a problem that hasn't been created, right? And that's something that we can talk about, having solutions before the problem sort of thing, right? But you're taking this overall inventory of yourself, which can be pretty much a resume. What's your resume look? What's your accolades? What's your rewards? What's your positives? Your, as they say, your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. What do you have on your resume that you put out there that if you were an HR person and you saw your resume, what stands out to you? Right? Be your own HR recruiter. How does yours stack up against everyone else's out there? And I'm going to guarantee you right now that your resume is not the only one that's out there. There's thousands of other people in the same boat, right? Who are still fishing out there for the 9 to 5. Maybe not just weeks, but months at this point, right? Again, you're taking this active decision, this conscious, collective decision of changing and exploring this what if it could be, it will be that way. So this is how I MacGyvered my life to get to this point, right? This is how I MacGyvered my life. I've taken all these experiences, these skill sets, these tools, and have gathered them all up and saying, hey, I have enough tools here to make this successful. To have a aqua luxury business consulting business that I can take into the marketplace, into business leaders established 5 years, 5 months, or 5 minutes into their business journey, and say, hey, of your business, what is it that you're missing? What are the gaps that are creating or diminishing from your peace of mind every time you lay down at night? And I can say, hey, I can help you fill those gaps so that the next time COVID 2.0 happens, business deal doesn't go through, a employee quits, 5 employees quit, utility truck breaks down, you didn't make enough per month, or whatever have you, right? That because you and I shared 15 minutes, it could save you 1,500 hours of pain, misery, regret later on down the road. And that's what I promise. And that's what I bring to it, is how I MacGyvered my life, to help you MacGyver your life and your business into a way that there are less what ifs and more peace of mind. So I'm glad you came by. I really am. I really hope you had a great day. I'm super happy to see you. If you'd like to, as my kids would say, leave a comment down below, give me a like, I would appreciate it. But I hope to see you again next time. And I promise everything's going to be just fine. Thanks for coming by.